Here's a question. What is ELT and what is TESOL? Any difference? How have these terms grown up? Well, I think most people would agree that they are synonyms, both denoting the international field of English language teaching for speakers of other languages. You could say that they are the British English and the American English terms for this field or profession. ELT, English language teaching, being a British English term, and TESOL, teaching English to or for speakers of other languages, an American English term, although we increasingly use it in Britain as well, for example in titles of master's programs. And of course we see ELT in the title of this journal, and TESOL in the title of this one. TESOL Quarterly was set up just over 50 years ago as the Journal of TESOL International Association, a teachers' association based in the USA with members worldwide. Just as IATEFL, the International Association of Teachers of English as a Foreign Language, which is also just over 50 years old, based in the UK, also has members worldwide. ELT Journal isn't the journal of IATEFL, although it's published in association with IATEFL nowadays. In fact, it's been published by Oxford University Press since the early 1960s, and before that by the British Council, when the journal was founded 75 years ago in 1946. In fact, before this journal existed, there wasn't really a sense of there being a field or profession called ELT or TESOL or TEFL or anything else really. It's not an exaggeration to say that this journal created a sense of profession and of a united field of English language teaching for speakers of other languages. In fact, ELT, as the British English word for the profession, came from the name of the journal. At first, the name was English language teaching in this long form, and with the subtitle you can see here, then abbreviated to ELT, as in this 1967 collection of articles. But then people started to use ELT for the whole profession, not just the journal, so the publishers decided to add journal at the end, to prevent confusion between the field and the journal itself when people were referring to it. So that's why we now know it as ELT Journal, or just ELTJ. I'm honoured to have written the first article in the 75th anniversary volume, titled A Brief History of ELTJ, and for that to have been made freely available as an editor's choice article. For this article I look back over old copies of ELTJ and other related documents, both online and in the ELT archive that I've developed at Warwick University. And I engaged in some oral history too, by interviewing a number of people associated with the journal, now and in the past editors and so on. I divided the article into 3 periods of 25 years each, and I think you might find some interesting differences from standard histories of TESOL methods if you read the article. We have lots of preconceptions about what the past was like, often negative ones, and I hope you'll end up agreeing with me that it's useful as well as interesting to look more closely at what actually occurred in the past, to give us perspective to see where we're going in the field of ELT or TESOL. For example, there's continuity as well as change in the way different editors of the journal have consistently valued practice and practitioner insights, even though it's an academic journal, trying to marry or bridge between theory and practice. This has a long tradition going all the way back to Hornby, the first editor, and even earlier. It's also interesting to see how, if we look at the pages of the journal, there isn't one particular method that dominates over the last 25 years, as in the previous 2 25-year periods, with situational, oral, structural approach and then communicative language teaching. Instead, I've identified a movement towards various kinds of decentering as the most characteristic phenomenon of this most recent 25-year period. And if you get interested in this kind of historical approach, there are more resources to explore on the ELTJ website. For example, a recorded interview with A.S. Hornby, early issues of the journal to browse, and extra information I've provided there about the origins and precursors of the journal. Finally, if you get interested enough to want to pursue some historical inquiries of your own, I'm always happy to hear from you and to help with guidance and resources, including those we have here in the ELT archive at Warwick University.